Welcome back, guys, to Kerbal Space Explosion. We begin today with a very cinematic shot, perhaps one of the most cinematic shots I've ever captured. We are on Gilly, the moon orbiting Eve. You can see the sun, it's either rising or setting. I think it's setting. Yeah, it's setting. The sun is setting very dramatically. We have Eve here, nearly eclipsing it. If we were just a smidgen over there in this rock field, it might be an eclipse, which would be maybe even more cinematic. But the time has come. It's time to reconvene everything and get the hell out of here. Go back to Kerbin and use up our science. Now, off camera, I think I forgot last time when I landed him on here. I think I forgot to do some of the science. Maybe that was on purpose. I don't remember. Anyway, what am I doing here? Click on... I'm trying to... I wants to... Oh, is it because why am I sped up? I shouldn't be sped up. Yeah, there we go. Review store data. This is what we have so far from this guy. We've got mystery goo in space near Gilly, 80. EVA report in space near Eve, 56. EVA report in space high over Gilly, 64. EVA report while in space near Gilly, 64. Surface sample from Gilly surface, 270. Seismic scan from Gilly surface, 180. Gravity scan from Gilly surface, 180. EVA report from Gilly's surface, 72. Mystery goo from Gilly's surface, 90. And that's it. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to get this guy into orbit around Gilly, which shouldn't take much. We have basically a full tank. Then we have to escape from Gilly's sphere of influence to get back around the orbit around Eve, somewhere around here. Then we need to try to rendezvous with our eccentric orbit of the Eve supership, which is right here, our target. We need to do all of those things, and that's phase one. And then we will try to, we're going to try to fill up with this fuel dump guy, and we will consider rescuing this guy over here. But he's going clockwise. Everything else is going counterclockwise. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. But first things first, so here's our target right there. I think we're going to ignore that. We're going to go the opposite direction. No. Yeah, this is the direction we want to go, 90, right? Yeah, we want to escape 90 and get into a basic low orbit. SAS on. It's not going to take much, so I want to save as much fuel as possible. Okay, landing gear up, and let's immediately... Whoa, what's going on? Whoa, what are you doing? Oh! Reaction wheels. Toggle torque. Okay. Cut the engines. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was bad. That was almost very bad. Okay, let's fix that. I turned those off because the gravity is so low here. The gravity is so low. How low was it? It sounds like a really bad joke setup. But the gravity is so low that the lander was just flopping around just from the SAS, trying to keep it in place. And even after I turned it off, it kept bouncing around. It never really settled. So I turned off the reaction wheel, and that made this thing impossible to control because this engine doesn't have any gimbaling. And that's our target right there. So I'm going to try to line up with that a little bit, I guess. There's our descending node. Yeah, see, only 0.7. Now it's getting to 0.8. Let's come back this way, see if we fix it. And actually, that's not a huge deal. Let's just make sure we don't... Oh, crap. Yeah, we've already escaped from Gilly without even getting into orbit. And this is our new orbit. We were burning in the correct direction. We were making our orbit smaller because we were burning in the retrograde of the overall orbit of Gilly, which is going around like this. We were burning that way. So I guess it worked out. And our descending node is only 0.8, so let's just keep it like that. Until we escape, we can say goodbye to Gilly. It's funny, this little, that was the patch where we landed, and that seems to be the only place where the game generated the randomly scattered terrain, the rocks. And so we got those little sparkles right there in a little circle, and nowhere else. And let's see, we've got a little bit... So let's just enjoy the view as we float away. Let's check the fuel tank real quick. Fuel tank. Almost totally full. Yeah, that took almost nothing. On any other surface, having done that, I would have probably had to quick load to save it from exploding. But since the gravity is so low, we could just somersault around a bit. Actually, I probably could have. Oh, we can't even go any faster. I probably could have saved it on a few other places, depending. All right, so let's hit Alt and the fast forward key to do physical acceleration. We can force it into that. And slowly, what did it say, 8,000? Okay, so now I should be able to go down and then jump up to 5. And up to 10, and up to 50. And goodbye, Gilly. See you later, sucker. You know, Gilly was kind of a challenge. The gravity was so low, you had to be really finicky to keep things from going sideways. Still escaping. Very cinematic. Let's speed up. There we go. Okay, we've escaped. So the next thing to do, we need to try to make the same orbit as this guy. Let's see, our descending node is 0.8. That's not too bad. I think what I want to do, something around here. Let's try this. Basically like that. That's a burn of 19 seconds. I'm not sure if that's the best plan. I'm not sure if we'll have enough fuel to do that. So we could do that, and we could rendezvous there. That would take a 37-second burn. Or, what if we did it over here? And just bring this one down. That would probably be... Oh, what is going on here? Grab onto that. Yes, much more efficient. Okay, that would at least get us touching the orbit there. And that would take almost nothing. And then we could use the rest of our fuel here to get as close to that as possible. And once we rendezvous, we can... Whoa. Once we rendezvous, we can refill the ship up with fuel, of course, and use it again, do whatever we want. So I think that's what we're going to do. All right. We've lined up pretty much with the node. It shouldn't take much. I'm just going to throttle up real slowly, real gently. Try to keep it right on that target. Stay on target. Whoop. Okay, and kill it. What does that look like? That looks pretty close. Our ascending descending node is down to 0.4 degrees. Let's get rid of this. Goodbye. Turn off SAS for the time being. Okay, then the next thing we want to do, let's go ahead and just spin around so that the camera gets a little closer. We're going to zip around to around here so we can have a little bit of a closer look. Actually, what we could try doing, let's see how long this takes. Or rather, not how long, but how much fuel it takes. So if we did this, and we're still in speed up mode, so let's stop that. If I tilt, oh my gosh, that's very dramatic. 7 degrees. Very dramatic. I need to use the kid gloves here. No man pants right now. 0.5. 0. And that takes almost nothing. Okay, let's do that. Let's find our target. If that doesn't take much fuel, then let's go ahead and do it. I have the solar panels out, so we can just leave SAS on. I usually turn it off when I'm orbiting to keep from running out of power, but since the solar panels are on, who cares? And we will just rotate like this until we get to that point. And then we'll do an additional burn to try to... Circularize isn't the right term, but we're going to try to make the orbit the same as it is for the super ship. And then we may have to use the tug to come get this guy and bring him back. 2 hours. 1 hour. I want to resist the urge to speed things up even faster because we will zip right by it. 20 minutes. 19, 18, 17, 16. And this one is going to be even more delicate, I think. It's only 2.6 meters per second. So basically, I'm going to... Okay, this is probably close enough. Like that. Schmack. Okay, let's see what we did. Down to 0. Okay, that's good enough. So we can get rid of you. And we can set up another one. Let's go ahead and spin around, though, until we're around here, so that the camera's a little closer. It centers in a little bit more of a convenient spot. Okay, stop. Let's see. Oh. We're not that far from an intersect. Look at that. Okay. We want to go to about there. It's hard to see where exactly the apoapsis of that orbit is. It doesn't show us those markers. Oh, look how many times it's rotating as we do this. That's funny. 11-second burn. I'm pretty sure we can do that. We can at least make it better. I'm not sure how long this fuel tank will actually last. But we want to do something kind of like that. And let's leave it a little bit bigger. Just so we can fiddle-faddle with it later. And let's see, if I move this... Yeah, see how it makes it look a little bit more symmetrical with our target? Let's do that. We got a bink, bink, bink. We've got all kinds of little arrows and nodes and notches and tick marks, which we're going to ignore for just right now. 37-second burn. We'll see if we can manage that. I'm not sure if we'll be able to. 2 hours until that burn. This fuel tank is not very big. Something tells me 37 seconds isn't going to happen. But I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly how long these little fuel tanks last. I don't use them very often. This is about as minimal as my ships get. I know people make smaller ones, but this is pretty small for me. There are these little teeny tiny, like tugboat, or not tugboat, intertube fuel tanks, which are really small. I've never used those. It's just too silly. It's too small. Maybe one day, if I ever mess around with probes more, I will have a reason to use that. 28 minutes. Okay, speed up. Okay, slow down. Don't go shooting past it now. 1 minute. Okay, we're about there. Okay, and let's see. We want to go at about 18 or 19. 19. Okay. Fire! Whoa. No. Stay on target, buddy. Are you asymmetrical? Why am I having to wrestle with you? Whoa. I wonder if it's the parachute on the back. I wonder if that's it. I don't know. But it's not liking this. And it looks... Oh, gosh. It looks like we will be able to do it. I'm really having to wrestle with this. I can't even look at the rest of the screen. I'm just focused on the nav ball. Hup. Yep. Stay on it. Oh, my gosh. What is going on? Okay, let's just stop there. Why is it doing that? Let's see, where's our parachutes? I don't have one. Okay. There are no parachutes on this guy. We're going to parachute in on... I guess he's going to go to the crew cabin, whatever, that we made. Yeah, no parachutes. I don't detect anything asymmetrical about it. But let's see what we did. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. And there's them, and there's us. And we're still, like, way up there. Let's get rid of this. Now, are we going around the right direction? Let's check that. We should be. We're heading towards our apoapsis. Yeah, we are. Okay, just checking. And they are way over... No, wait. That's not them. That's Buzz. They're right there. No, this is us. They're right there. Okay, so we need to go around again. And probably do another burn. Our apoapsis is actually a little bit lower than theirs. But yeah, we definitely need to do a burn from there because our periapsis is much higher than our targets. So let's go around again and try to fix that. I also need to try to line up more with them. They're going around faster, so I bet if I do a burn, you see how far apart we are? We're very close. And I bet if I do a burn there, we'll be able to rendezvous. We still have half a tank. There we go. Okay. Did it. Finally got this thing docked together. So the lander is now on the nose, and we've got the crew cabin here. And the tug on the back. And had a kind of difficult time getting this guy to dock because this thing is just rotating endlessly, and I'm not sure exactly why. Let's do a little time acceleration. And that usually halts the rotation. That made it a little more difficult. Okay, but that is done. So let's zoom out. Let's look at the new situation. A little bit simplified. Next thing we need to do, I think, is we need to rendezvous with this guy. Let's switch to him and take a look at his fuel situation. If he has enough fuel, we may do something similar to what we just did. Oh no, he's almost totally done. And this is a weird thing that happens when you switch to targets. It starts you extremely zoomed out. Like, it switches the target, but it doesn't change the camera. So the camera starts at max zoom out range. What do you have? Oh, this guy is full. But the outer tanks are empty. I do have fuel lines on this, and I guess when I designed it, I put them in going the wrong way. Or are there not fuel lines? I don't see them. I guess I could fill it up and I could fill up these side ones like this. Let's see what happens if I try to fill them up. And I guess we'll go to about half. We'll just go to about there. Okay. If it did have fuel lines at some point, they're not there now. So I wonder what happened. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't flown this guy in a while. And then we can do a similar thing here, like this. In. Like so. And I want to get it fairly symmetrical, so we'll go to about there. And that should be about the same. Yeah, okay. Let's try and do that. Okay, we're getting quite close. We are getting very close to our target. Hopefully we can do it. They're not perfectly lined up. It's a little bit hard to line these two things up perfectly. Let's just try and make them kiss, turn the SAS off as soon as they get close enough, and hopefully it does its thing well enough that it doesn't all shatter and explode. Hopefully the Kraken doesn't strike. There we go. Let's turn that off. Yes! Oh, it worked! I am amazed. Okay, turn SAS off. Let's do a time acceleration really briefly, just so it all straightens out. Look at that. We have a new super ship. We've reunited with Newbie Kerman. And first thing we should do probably is move him. Let's get him out of there. Where is he? And let's move him to our crew cabin up there. Let go. RCS on. Fly back this way. I turned all the solar panels off just in case they all... Okay, slow down, buddy. Just in case they hit each other when we were doing this docking maneuver. I'm amazed I got this to work. It took a while. It was quite finicky when you try to dock things this big. Next time I make a super ship, I think we're going to make it a little more modular. Less huge pre-built things and more modular, easy-to-maneuver pieces that we'll assemble into something huge and gigantic and over-designed. But hopefully the overall assembly process will be less stressful. So we just need to latch onto that ladder. We don't need any science. We've already gotten all the available science. This is the first guy we've rescued. Eventually we will move Hudhat into here as well because he doesn't have a parachute. But we may still use that lander. I haven't quite decided. We may get rid of it. We have to decide that in just a second. Oh, come on. Bump onto there. Whoop. Whoop. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. What are you doing? You're moving too fast. Getting quite a bit of lag here because of all the parts. We're going to refuel our main ship, and then we're going to dump this guy, and all those parts should despawn eventually. So that'll be nice. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, grab on. Grab on. Don't fall off. Okay, good. He made it. Now board. Excellent. Okay. One member safe and secure in the crew hatch. Let's see how much fuel we have left. I use a decent amount, making the orbits the same so that we could rendezvous. This guy, I'm not sure about him. We'll see. But we can do this, and I'll equalize them later. Let's just get rid of this. All the fuel in these tanks. In. And I'll balance those guys out later. Off camera. We can get rid of that. Very nice. Okay, and then this one. Just dump it in wherever. In. And you have to leave these up. If you close these displays, it will stop the transfer. And we have to remember to get the monopropellant as well. We don't want to forget that. Okay. Then there's you and this guy. Why not? In. Very good. So we ended up with a little bit more fuel. Okay, stop. Quit your rotating. Then we've got this guy. How much is in there? No, not that. This. Not that. Yeah, monopropellant. Okay, in. Very good. Refueling everything. And I think since we didn't get to land on Eve, and since we're going to refuel these guys, we may decide to go for another trip. Okay, so all of the fuel has been transferred, and I just did a little time warp so that we could have something a little bit more scenic for the end of the video. I time warped around to Eve, and the Kraken struck, and two of these guys fell off, but that's okay. They were empty anyway. What I was going to do is trigger this. No, not the engine. I want to use the decoupler. Decouple. Okay, goodbye to you. We don't need those. Transferred all the monopropellant. Look at our monopropellant. It's totally full now. We can also get rid of this little guy. So, let's see. Undock. Goodbye to you. There's nobody in there, and there's no probe core. So that should slowly disappear. Okay, so now we're down to slightly less complexity overall. We still have this lander. We still have our tug. This guy's full of fuel. The lander's full of fuel. And we have a few options to consider for next time. It took a while to get all this stuff assembled again. We've got a decent amount of fuel left in here as well. So, we could accept defeat on Eve this time and return later. Return to Kerbal and cash in the science that we have. Or, alternatively, we could try to push our luck and see just how far we can go. I honestly haven't decided what I'm going to do. And you'll have to find out next time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned next time. We're either going to Moho or we're going back to Kerbal, whichever I feel is more likely to succeed. Well, we can definitely go back to Kerbal, but I may try to risk it all. We might lose it all and crash into Moho. Who knows? Because there's no atmosphere there. We would have to burn retrograde as well. We'll find out next time. See you later. Take it easy. Have a good day. Bye-bye.